Hi everyone, how are you today? I've had to get on live a little bit earlier than I had planned to today because my little fella, and let me know if you've got the same situation, my little fella is very excited today because I don't think I can say this properly, the Dan DTM tickets are going on sale. It's a YouTuber that my son follows, and he's coming to Australia, he's coming to Perth, so the tickets go on sale at 2 o'clock and I'm under absolute strict instructions to be online and click on the tickets as soon as they appear, because I wouldn't want to be the person to say to him that he missed out on tickets, because he's very excited about this. So I've come on, like I said, a little bit earlier today. If you don't know me already, I'm Victoria from Breathe and Be Mindful, and like I said, I have a son who's 10 years old and I have a daughter who is 12 years old. So in the midst of all of those exciting growing up and the hormones and all that kind of thing. So I teach meditation at retreats and workshops and in corporate situations, and I also teach online. So I'm coming to this this discussion today from the side of a meditation teacher. Please note that I'm not a doctor and I am not a psych, so just taking that advice from me, who is a meditation teacher and a yoga teacher. So I have done a lot of training. I've been teaching for about 12 years, so I am very passionate about reading the latest research on neuroplasticity and how meditation affects stress and how meditation affects our minds. And I've been quite stressed over my life, and I have found, and after many years of research, I have found that meditation is one of the best ways to manage our stress. So we often can't manage the stresses that come into our lives, but we can manage how we react to those stresses and how our bodies react to those stresses. So in saying that, when we come to people that are negative in our lives, which we all will, it's really how we take on board their negativity and how we take on board their stresses and how we react to that. So a lot of the time when people are coming to us with their stresses, they trigger things in us that could be very deep-seated in our neural pathways, and it could bring up a lot of emotional baggage that is actually from the past already. So I spoke a little bit about this the other day on Tuesday about a meditation called the Past, Present, Future meditation, and that's a really great way of trying to detach yourself from the emotional baggage that we had before. But today I'm going to start with a little story, and it's actually in my book, Will You Come to Bed With Me? Creating Mindful Moments with your family. It's a story that happened to me when I was still a school teacher out in the country. So I was a very passionate school teacher, and as I am in every job that I do, and I was ringing the speech pathologist. I was trying to help some of the little people in my classroom with some of the speech issues that they were having, because I thought if I could bring in some of the speech therapy that they were doing into the classroom practice, then they were getting lots and lots of situations where they could practice it. So I rang the speech pathologist place where I was living, and I got a nurse, and it was a head nurse. It was a manager of all of the different therapies around, and she went absolutely off her brain at me. She told me to stick to my own job. She told me to stop wasting everybody else's time. She told me to pull my head in and start minding my own business. And you know, she went off her brain. And it really took me back, because I didn't feel as though I was stepping on anybody's toes. I was just asking for advice, and I was asking I was asking to get some advice and to help these little people that you know, I had in my care. And I had to really step back and take a while to see whether I was overstepping the mark, and whether I was upsetting the speech pathologist. And it came to my mind that the speech pathologist actually thanked me a lot, because I was helping them with their job, and obviously helping the little people that were in my classrooms. So a couple of years later, I had, when I had my own children, I had to go into the same place that she worked at, and I came up against her as well. And I didn't mention anything, because I didn't know whether she was going to remember me, but she did straight away. She said, "Oh, you were, you know, at that time I was Miss Sorrell." She said, "Oh, you were Miss Sorrell." And I said, "Yeah, I'm actually Mrs. Ewan now." And I was petrified. I was really nervous about seeing her. And we finished what we needed to do with my children, and she took me aside, and she said, "Look, a couple of years ago I spoke to you on the phone." I said, "Yes, I remember." And she said, "I really have to apologise." And it really made me stop. And she said, "I need to apologise because at the time I was suffering insane migraines, and I was in pain a lot of the time. And this really hindered my ability to make great decisions, and in the way that I spoke to people." So she wanted to apologise for years and years before of what she said to me. And I went home, and I gave it a lot of thought. I gave it a lot of thought, because it really made me realise that sometimes it's not our reactions, or it's not our actions that cause somebody else's reaction. And when we come across these people that are angry and are upset and are tight and tense, there could be so many other reasons why. And a lot of the empathy that I have created within myself is from a meditation called the Loving Kindness Meditation. It's one of the most ancient, I guess you could say, meditations that is out there. It has been around for thousands and thousands of years. And it's a really fabulous meditation to gain some clarity on how others' lives are going, and how we can react to their lives, especially the people that we come across that are very trying. And we do. We come across these people all the time. You know, some people think my life, because I'm a meditation teacher, is all, you know, I don't know, fairy tales and rocking around and, you know, unicorns and sparkly rainbows, but it's not. It's not. And I'm not going to go into everything that's happening in my life at the moment, but there is constant stresses in my day, and the meditation practice that I have just gives me so many tools in order to deal with these things. So many tools, and I call them my tool belt. You know, I can sort of say, oh, I need this tool for this situation, or I need this tool for this situation. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I've been given the meditation tools and the breathing techniques by other teachers, and by my own reading and my own research and my training, that I can pull out all of these tools. And my enjoyment of my life, even though all of these stresses are happening in my life, my enjoyment of life is still very, very good. It is still very good. So when we do come across these people that are negative in our lives, there are a few things that we can do. We can work on that empathy muscle, and we can start detaching ourselves from the situation. So working on your empathy muscle, you know, we can start thinking that it might not be us that's causing this rift, this situation, if we know in ourselves that, you know, we are doing the best we can. But it might not be us. It could be they're not having a good sleep the night before. It could be they're going through emotional issues themselves. They could be going through relationship issues themselves. You know, there was a situation where I walked out of a shop, and this actually brings me to tears. Whew. I walked out of a shop, and a complete stranger said to me, "Oh, that lady's so grumpy," and she walked off. And I happened to know that that lady that was serving her had just been diagnosed with bowel cancer. So just to be empathetic about other things that are happening to other people that we know nothing about. And just having that practice of kindness to people, especially those people that are unhappy, and especially those people that are really, really struggling. Yep. Okay, so that's one thing, building that empathy muscle, and loving kindness meditation is by far one of the best things you can possibly do for that. And if you Google loving kindness meditation, you'll find it everywhere. Please find a meditation teacher that you like their voice, so that you can resonate with that, and it can really affect you and bring that empathetic feeling within you. The other thing that we can do is, again, detach ourselves from the emotional pull that some of these people have with us, and look back and see why that person is affecting us so much. So like I said, it's not necessarily about us. It's sometimes their stressful lives are impacting ours. But what are we getting triggered? What is in our neural pathways that we haven't dealt with, that we're getting triggered to react to what they're saying? Okay, so really coming inside and really listening and finding out even where that is affecting you inside your body. Do you know, like, is it giving you that uncomfortable feeling in your belly? Or is it making your heart beat faster? Or is it giving you a dry taste in your mouth? Like, we can really think physically what is happening to our bodies, and then we can go into a nice body scan, and we can relax those parts of our bodies, and then we can ask, why are we reacting to this? And then going back perhaps to an event, and when we're in a meditation practice, we're in a safe place so that we know we can go back to an event, and then we can say, "Oh, thank you. I understand that event has happened. It's in my past now. I'd like to be released from that emotional hook, that emotional anchor. Thank you very much for the lessons that you've taught me. I'd like to move on now." So I'm making it sound very, very simple, but it's a process. I encourage you to find a person to guide you through these situations. Another great technique that we can do, actually on the spot, absolutely there, is a technique that we can do with our fingers. So it's a physical technique which sometimes gives the body a bit of a kick in. Okay, this is what I'm doing. If you find yourself in a negative situation and someone's coming to you, or even on the phone, or when you're driving the car, there's situations, and you're finding your heartbeats increasing, you're finding you're starting to go into the adrenaline sort of rush, and your head's getting dizzy, that kind of thing. Stop and breathe. Always stop and breathe. Firstly, okay, those first 3 breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Out breath being longer than the in breath. only 3 times. You only need to do that 3 times to really chill yourself out. Continue doing it in through the nose and out through the nose if you need to. But one thing that I teach in my workshops is peace be with me, or peace is mine now. So whichever one you resonate with, peace be with me or peace is mine now. So if we bring our finger and our thumb together, that sends a little signal to the bottom part of our lungs to open up, and so we're hopefully getting the oxygen into our system. Then we can start saying peace, and we might want to breathe with it. It be with me, or peace is mine now. Now, I first read this technique in a book that Gabrielle Bernstein wrote, and yeah, give me a little message down there if you've read any of Gabrielle Bernstein's books. She's an American American author and speaker that is with Louise Hay's group, Posse, I think of it as, and writes books for Hay House. But when I wrote my book, I really wanted to include it in there. So I contacted her and have no idea how I actually got through to her, because I'm assuming that she'd have lots and lots of, secretaries and people that check her emails or whatever, but I got straight through to her, which I thought was so cool. And I said, can I share this technique? Can I share it? And she said, she said, I wish I could remember the direct quote, but it was something like, spread the light, girlfriend, or spread the light, sister, or something like that. It was just gorgeous. I found it the other day and I'd actually completely forgotten that it was there. I should keep it somewhere safe. So I'm stoked that I'm allowed to share this with you. Peace be with me, or peace is mine now. Okay, so I teach this, and it's fabulous for kids as well, because sometimes they need a physical reminder and with their hands. Now we can do this technique with our hands behind our backs. So if we're standing there and someone's, getting in our face, and we can feel the blood rising and we can feel the steam coming out of our ears, 3 breaths, put your hands behind your back. Peace is mine now. You can do it with both hands. Peace is mine now. Or place your hands underneath the desk. Peace is mine now. It gives the brain a chance to switch from reactive mode into, how am I going to respond to this mode? It gives the oxygen it gives the brain more oxygen to process and to think clearer. Okay, so there's been 3 different techniques that I've taught you today, or given you the opportunity to listen to today, to help with negative people around you. So practicing the loving kindness meditation, and I'll probably record one next week, because we have spoken about this today. So I've recorded them in the past, but I don't like the quality of them. I've become very, very particular about the quality of my meditations now. I just want them to be amazing for you. So I will probably record another one next week when it's not bin day and the trucks are coming past. Okay, so loving kindness meditation, growing that empathetic muscle that you have, and detaching yourself, using the past, present, future meditation that I mentioned last week. And I haven't put that on my website. I'll pop that on my website for you. And what else did we talk about? Yeah, detaching yourself because they might be going through other things, and the peace is mine now. Beautiful. Okay, so if there is anything that you would like me to discuss, I'm having an open discussion, a live Facebook on Tuesdays and Thursdays, And so some people have been asking me to discuss different things. So today's live is exactly from somebody asking me to discuss how to cope with those negative people in your life and how to keep positive around them. Okay, so if you do have anything in life for me to answer some questions, I may or may not be able to do it, but I'll do my absolute best. And you will know that it will always come from a meditative place. I've been just finished Sarah Wilson's book on First We Make the Beast Beautiful. Sarah Wilson is the girl that does all of the I Quit Sugar programs and books. So she suffers from anxiety terribly, really, really terribly, and it's actually it's quite moving listening to or reading some of the things that she wrote in her book. But one thing as a meditation teacher that did stand out for me in her book was we don't often give ourselves the chance these days to just sit. Usually we used to be able to sit at a bus stop and just look around and look at the birds, but now we sit at a bus stop and look at our phone. We used to go to a coffee shop and we used to just sit and people watch and daydream. These days everyone looks at their phone or reads a book. I actually went to a coffee shop the other day and tried not to do that, and I felt like an absolute freak. What's our word come to? So she said that we're not giving ourselves the time our brains, the time to process things. Our brains are just constantly go all day. And then at night time, then our brains start to process these things. And that's often why we're not sleeping. We're not sleeping well. And goodness, there is so much research on how important a decent night's sleep is. Okay, so again, if you've got any questions, or even if you want to just put some likes, or say hi Victoria, or I've tried this meditation or which meditation, any questions, any comments, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if you meditate. It's funny working here by myself and recording meditations and doing live things, because I want to talk to you. I want to figure out what you need in life, and I want to figure out what I can best help you with. But I can't unless you have a talk with me. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I'll be online to answer any questions or to have a conversation with you this afternoon, because like I said at the beginning, I have to be online to click that little button to get these tickets for my son and my daughter and my ex-husband. So I'll be in lots and lots of trouble if I'm not sitting there at the specific time that the sale comes on. All right, so I will speak to you all soon. Bye.